What's up, YouTube? Columbia River Hookers. If you saw my last video, I went over my sturgeon gear, my setup, what works best for me. Well, it's been about a week. Weather hasn't changed. It hasn't got above freezing. It's actually been consistently below zero, meaning all the boat launches are iced in and we can't get out. So this time I'm going to go over what I use to catch walleye on the Columbia River. I will show you the worm harnesses I have. I will show you how to make them yourself. And I'll show you a couple plugs I have and when I use them. So let's get with it. Well, first off, let's go over some of the different worm harnesses I have and what I like to use. As you can see, they come in many different styles. You can get smiley blades, you can get silver blades with color, you can get copper blades, you can get blades that have colors on both sides, anything you want. The options are pretty much endless when it comes to these. You can add wedding rings to them, you can change your bead pattern, you can change your colors, anything you want. Now, I tie my own worm harnesses because I like to be able to have the freedom to adjust my color patterns, what I want to use. I can adjust the size of my lures, I can adjust the inserts I have in them, different colors on the heads, and if you want, you can even run a 2-hook setup. I really like the endless possibilities with tying my own harnesses, from the color of the blade, the size of the blade I use, to my color configurations. If I want to run beads, if I want to change the size, if I want to put a wedding ring in it. But one thing I do suggest, no matter what color combination you use, keep your blades and your beads somewhat consistent. I'm not going to run a green and yellow blade on a red, white, and blue bead, vice versa. So keep your colors pretty consistent with each other throughout the whole harness. So let's make a worm harness. The first thing you're going to need is a slow death hook, is what they're called. They're designed as they go through the water, they will actually create a spinning motion. So if you're like me and nobody in town sells slow death hooks, you can substitute it for a offset worm hook. That will also work just fine. You will also need some beads. Any color assortment that you would like works fine. You can design them, change them any way you want. I like to use a 6mm bead. You will also need some sort of a blade to spin off the front. I prefer Brad's Smiley blades. This is the medium size that I like to use. Remember to keep your color assortments somewhat close to the same. You don't want nothing too out there and oddball, looking really unnatural. And finally, you will need a barrel swivel. If you choose, I like using them. I like hooking my line or the swivel on my line to a barrel swivel. I like to use a size number 10 in the dark color. So the first step when I make my worm harnesses is I cut about a 2-foot leader. I tie it to my slow death hook, and on the other side you will take and you will attach your beads in any sort of configuration that you want. So after you get your beads lined up, this is what it should look like. I usually run between 5 or 6. You really don't want to get too much bigger than that. Now we will attach the smile blade and I'll show you what it looks like. So after you attach the blade of your choice, this should be your final end result. And that's how you make a worm harness. So once your worm harness is complete, it is time to attach your worm. I prefer using actual live night crawlers when I do. I get more movement and action in the water. Some people do use plastics like this one and have had success. It's just not my method. But you want to use approximately 4 inches, whether it's a plastic or actual night crawler. 4 inches works for a single hook setup for me. So this here is your final product. This is your worm harness. From your blade that you choose, your different colors, your slow death hook, which like I said, you can see the bend in the worm right there. It'll actually make it spin as it goes through the water to the worm of your choice. This is your final worm harness. Well, that's it. That is my walleye setup. That is what I use to catch walleye the majority of the time. Medium-sized green and yellow smiley blade, 5 to 6 size 6mm beads in green and yellow, a slow death hook, and approximately 4 inches of either plastic worm if you choose, or night crawler. So I'm not the best walleye fisherman in the world, but I have definitely caught my fair share of them. If you guys like this, let me know. If you guys have any questions, comments, anything like that, again, I don't know everything, but I will do my best to answer and help any way I can. So go start making some worm harnesses and fish on.